It was a cold night in 1940, off the west coast of Ireland. Fishermen noticed something odd, a dark silhouette slipping silently through the waters under the cover of night. As rumours spread, a question echoed. Were Nazi U-boats secretly being refuelled in neutral Irish ports? Could Ireland, while officially neutral, have aided Hitler's deadly submarines? Today we dive deep into this wartime mystery and uncover the truth behind one of the most persistent rumours of World War II. Ireland's location in the Atlantic made it a critical point of interest for both the Allies and the Axis powers. Situated just off the coast of Britain, Ireland was dangerously close to some of the most important shipping lanes of the war. Nazi U-boats prowled the North Atlantic, aiming to sink Allied convoys carrying vital supplies to Britain. Britain's survival depended on these convoys, but Nazi U-boats had a powerful tool, the ability to attack without warning, slipping beneath the waves undetected. And so the rumours began. If Ireland was secretly assisting the Germans, it could drastically tip the balance of the war in the Atlantic. Were U-boats refuelling in Irish waters? Was neutral Ireland hiding something? These rumours didn't appear out of nowhere. Much of the suspicion surrounding Ireland's neutrality can be traced back to Britain, and more specifically to Winston Churchill. During the war, Churchill was openly critical of Ireland's decision to remain neutral. In his famous 1945 Victory in Europe speech, Churchill implied that Ireland's neutrality may have put the Allies at risk. The approaches which the southern Irish ports could so easily have guarded, and so easily have saved us, we could only guard them with the large numbers of ships and aircraft which ought to have been protecting the life of this island. Churchill's words reflected a deep frustration, and British newspapers ran with it. Sensationalist headlines began suggesting that Ireland's refusal to allow British forces to use its southern ports meant it could be aiding the other side. These suspicions, though largely unfounded, fanned the flames of conspiracy, and soon the question on everyone's mind was, could Ireland really be secretly aiding Nazi U-boats? The presence of German spies in Ireland only added fuel to the fire. The most infamous was Hermann Gortz, a Nazi agent who parachuted into Ireland in 1940. His mission? To coordinate with the Irish Republican Army, the IRA. The IRA, still fighting for independence from Britain, saw Nazi Germany as a potential ally in their cause. They hoped to secure weapons and aid from the Germans in exchange for launching attacks against British forces in Northern Ireland. While no significant collaboration materialised, the very idea of this potential partnership caused alarm in Britain and further fuelled the rumours of Irish Nazi collaboration. While Gortz and several other German agents were eventually captured and imprisoned by the Irish government, the damage was done. British intelligence remained deeply suspicious, and the rumours of Nazi U-boats being refuelled in Irish ports only grew. Éamon de Valera, Ireland's Prime Minister during the war, had to carefully navigate the dangerous waters of neutrality. On one hand, Ireland couldn't afford to provoke the wrath of Nazi Germany. On the other, they needed to maintain cordial relations with Britain and the Allies. It was a delicate balancing act. De Valera's government maintained diplomatic relations with both sides. German and Allied diplomats were stationed in Dublin, and Ireland's policy of strict neutrality was enforced, at least officially. But behind closed doors, there was more going on. Ireland's government was secretly providing valuable intelligence to the Allies, sharing information about U-boat movements and German spies operating in the country. Despite these behind-the-scenes efforts, Ireland never formally joined the war effort, and its ports remained closed to both sides. At least, that's what the official story says. So what about the U-boats? Is there any evidence that Nazi submarines actually used Irish ports for refuelling? U-boats were designed to operate on long patrols, with enough fuel and supplies to stay at sea for weeks, if not months, without needing to dock. While they did patrol near Irish waters, there is no credible evidence to suggest that they ever used Irish ports for refuelling. In fact, Irish ports were tightly controlled, and no U-boats are recorded to have docked there during the war. Ships and aircraft in distress were allowed to land in Ireland for humanitarian reasons, but this applied to both sides. It was part of Ireland's strict policy of neutrality, and any suggestion that U-boats were secretly refuelling in Irish ports simply doesn't hold up when examined closely. But what if Ireland had aided the Nazis? What if, instead of maintaining neutrality, Ireland had allowed Nazi U-boats to use its ports to refuel and resupply? In this scenario, U-boats would have had greater range and more opportunities to strike at Allied convoys. Britain's vital supply lines might have been cut off even more effectively, and the Battle of the Atlantic could have turned in favour of the Germans. Of course, this would have come at a cost. An Allied invasion of Ireland would have been almost certain, as Britain could not afford to let Nazi forces operate so close to their shores. Churchill had already considered the possibility of military action if Ireland threatened British security. The Irish public, meanwhile, had mixed reactions to these rumours. For many, Ireland's neutrality was a source of national pride, a way to stay out of a devastating global conflict. But for others, especially within the Republican movement, the idea of harming Britain by helping the Nazis had its appeal. After the war, these rumours left a lasting impact on Ireland's international relationships. While Ireland was officially neutral, figures like Churchill never forgot their refusal to fully support the Allies. And although Ireland's neutrality was ultimately respected, the legacy of these suspicions lingered, influencing post-war diplomacy. In the end, the rumours of Nazi U-boats refuelling in Ireland are just that, rumours. Ireland's neutrality was a delicate balancing act, one that required diplomatic finesse and careful decision-making. While the country may have maintained its distance from the war, it wasn't secretly aiding the Nazis. The myth of Irish collaboration tells us more about the suspicions and fears of the time than about Ireland's actual role in World War II. What do you think? Was Ireland's neutrality misunderstood? Could they have done more to help the Allies? Or was staying out of the conflict the right decision? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into untold history.